I guess I realized that the way that a relationship is designed conventionally, like conventionally what you picture in your head when you think of somebody who is partnered, is totally not in alignment with who I am or who I want to be or the life that I want to live. And I have no interest in changing myself to accommodate the conventional relationship, and I have no desire whatsoever for a conventional relationship either. So that leaves me with the question of what on earth is that going to look like? What is that supposed to look like? You know what I mean? Good morning, my lovely viewers, my lovely subscribers, and whoever is going to come across this video. I truly hope you are doing well. Welcome back to Ari's Overshares. This is the series in which case I, your host Ari, overshare on all matters of my mind, matters of my life, matters of my heart. And today I want to talk about relationships. Specifically, this idea that I have that I'm just going to be single for a really long time. And the reason that this is coming up for me now is because I've had some more recent or more frequent conversations in recent times with friends who I've been catching up with, and they've been asking me, like, so what's new in your life? Like, what's going on that I haven't heard about yet? And, I go down the normal set of what's been pretty standard in my life, like, I'm waking up and I'm going to the gym and work's good and I'm working really hard at work and I'm writing my memoir and that's going really well and I just feel like I'm on Ferrari mode and everything's good. And I don't really have that many updates because it's just kind of like I'm in a routine, and I love my routine. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my routine and I'm grateful that I'm in one, but there's not a ton that's new. But then that kind of brings me to the one thing that is new or sort of has been new in recent times, and it's the fact that I have started dating. And whenever I get to this part of the conversation with my friends, I always kind of just say, and I've started to date. And then I pause and I almost like take a panic breath and I put my hand out before they can start talking. And I'm like, but it's just really fun and casual and lighthearted because I have no space for a relationship right now and I don't want a relationship. And I'm like talking to people, I'm going on dates, but like nothing serious. Absolutely not. No way. So I kind of just like stop them before they can ask me, like, who are you dating? Who are you talking to? I'm like, truly don't even go there because it's not even that deep. You know what I mean? If you ask me the real reason why I started dating again, it's because I was sitting on my couch bored one Friday night and I no longer had a good enough reason not to download dating apps and not to kind of envision myself going on dates with people. When I had asked myself that in the past, like up until a few months ago, I just kind of kept coming back to this feeling of resistance. Like I couldn't name it necessarily cognitively, but in my body, it was just like, no, you don't want to do that. That's such a drain. And there was just this one day that I asked myself that same question on a Friday night. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Actually, that would be kind of cool. I started to kind of think about myself going on dates and, just holding the door for people and having a fun, flirty conversation and getting to know people and like kind of like that sexy, exciting, novel life energy kind of coming into my world seemed really cool and interesting and lovely. And so I downloaded the apps, I did my thing, sure, I go on dates, I'm talking to people, that's fine. But that's not really dating to me. Dating, when I think about dating, I think about people who are like on a pursuit for something serious, on a pursuit for something real, on a pursuit for a relationship, somebody that they can settle down with or build a life alongside or build a life with. And all three of those sets of sort of like definitions or assumptions that I just made are all ones that I would say are in alignment with what people would perceive as a conventional relationship, and I want none of them. And I don't feel any self-judgment about the fact that I don't want that. I think it's really healthy because I'm listening to what feels right in my body for me, but I am honestly really shocked by it. It's so surprising to me that this is what I am saying and how I am feeling about the concept of letting a partner or another individual in a romantic or intimate sense get involved in my life, that it's almost concerning not because I feel concerned by the fact, but just because that fact is so new and different from the way that I'd lived my life, honestly, since I was like 18. And so maybe now it makes sense to do just like a brief relationship history on Ari, because we've never really talked about this before. Ever since I was 19, I've been partnered or in some form of a long-term partnership. I met my ex-boyfriend when I was graduating in my senior year of high school, and we were friends for almost a year, and then we started dating, and I was with him practically all throughout my college time. We dated for 3 years in totality. We had like a short 2-month break in between that, but basically like 3 whole years. And then we broke up because I started to come out and realized that I was attracted to women. I had a 5-month downtime between breaking up with my ex-boyfriend, figuring out what it means to come out, how I do that, what's going on with me, who am I, like just this total erupting new identity. And then I met my now ex-girlfriend, and I dated her for 2 serious, monogamous, committed, beautiful, wonderful years. And then that ended in September of 2021. And when September of 2021 hit, I was wrecked. That relationship ending took a lot out of me in a very important way that I needed, because my ex-girlfriend hit a lot of old wounds, abandonment wounds, I'm not enough wounds, childhood trauma wounds that I needed to have pressed in order to elevate them to the surface so that I could confront them and heal from them. And so when we ended that relationship in September of 2021, I took 6 months. I didn't have a time limit in my head when I said this, but it took 6 solid, intense, hard, tremendously hard months to work through those wounds, to get over the relationship, to get over her, to feel like I was in a healthier place than I was when we broke up and before that partnership began. And that brought me to March of 2022. In the beginning of 2022, I had set a goal to take myself on 1 date a month. And when I set that goal, I set it for 1 date a month, 12 times over the course of a year, because I felt like there was no chance, absolutely zero chance, that I would be able to convince myself to take myself out on a date more often than that. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I deserved it. I didn't think I was worthy of spending $6 on a latte just for myself without, anybody else, like spoiling myself. Don't know that concept. Treating myself, never met her. I deserve to celebrate my time in my life alone and really love that. That doesn't happen for me. So that entered me into the new era, the I'm gonna date myself era, and that started in March of 2022. And it took 6 months of doing that. I ended up doing more than 1 date a month as I got comfortable. I started to really actually thoroughly enjoy spending conscious time with myself and taking myself out on dates. And my inner child started to really thrive and feel so nourished and loved in that environment. And so I started doing it every weekend. I'd be like, well, it's Saturday. Let's go find a new coffee shop. Let's find a new place to have dinner tonight. Let's do this literally all the time. I'm just going to fill my own cup and make myself feel tremendous and loved and beautiful. And now I can say those things without cringing, which is so phenomenal. It almost makes me laugh because there was so much of my life where that was just not possible, remotely possible at all. But I got myself to that point. And I would say I got myself to that point after about another 6 months or so. So like from March of 2020 through what would 6 months be? April, May, June, July, August, September. Basically like September of 2022, I was just like in my jam, fill my own cup energy, got no time for anything else, I'm on top of the world, like let's just go. Let's spend money on ourselves, let's go get the coffee, go get the dinner, go buy new clothes, whatever you need to feel good and rich and nourished, time spend, prioritize yourself, all of that, like just go down the list. I checked every single box, and I needed that 6 months. I needed that 6 months so much because my whole life I had never filled that cup. I had always filled other people's cups first. And for the first time, I felt like I could access the concept of filling my own cup, right? But what happened, or what started to happen, I'm realizing now, is that now it's February of 2023. And around the fall of 2022, when I started to realize, like, look, I've been filling my cup for a little minute, you know what I mean? Like, I know how to do this now. It's a muscle memory. I feel comfortable doing this and taking myself out, but I just need a little bit more. I just need a little bit more of my time. Now it's comfortable, but I just need a little bit more to feel like, you know, maybe not just I'm almost filled, but now I'm filled. And I'm like, you know what? I want to be overflowing with this like self-love and this showing up for myself cup energy. And I've been overflowing almost like a fountain now for the last couple, maybe 2, 3, 4 months. I literally feel like a water fountain where my cup is so filled that the water's just circulating. And I'm like, let's just keep going. We're in a beautiful energy and I don't want this to stop. I don't want to stop filling my own cup. I can't honestly afford to share my life energy with anybody else right now. I'm in such a selfish, self-centered mode of my life. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think part of the reason why people in like modern day society kind of feel shocked or maybe look down upon people who are single for a long time, or, you know, maybe they're like perma-single, is because it's just this air of selfishness, right? Like when you get to a certain age, it's like, oh, I should probably start thinking about like finding the one or finding somebody that I can settle down with so that I can be in a monogamous, committed, serious relationship, somebody that I can marry and have children with and build a life with, and kind of get pushed into that conventional modern sense of what a full, beautiful, three-dimensional household typical life looks like, right? But I don't think there's anything wrong about being selfish. I'm 25, totally unencumbered. I don't have kids. I report and respond to myself, for myself, by myself. And I am selfish. That's the thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, the life that I'm living right now is not selfish. It's 1,000% selfish. There's no doubt in my head that it's selfish. I prioritize me over everybody else. I make sure that my cup is filled. I don't overextend myself, or try really hard not to overextend myself. Even when it comes to making social plans with friends, I'm kind of like, look, Friday nights are my solo nights. I need to be alone on Friday night. And that's funny because the whole week I've spent alone, but it's like I'm going to work and I'm working on my memoir and I'm like, Friday's my date night. And then Saturday's like my date morning to go to the gym. And then I'm like, maybe I'll see you Saturday. But if I have plans Saturday, then I need a free Sunday. So I'm like really selfish with my time, even when it comes to my friends. And so, yeah, I'm living a totally selfish life right now. But I don't think that the negative connotations about being selfish are warranted or justified. Like, I think there's a lot of external shame that people place on people who think that way and live that way. Like when I talk to people about the life that I live, I almost get a lot of times sometimes people are really happy for me, but a lot of times they're happy for me because they're vicariously living through the freedom that I have that they don't. And people oftentimes, more often than that, kind of come to me with this shock, like, oh, that's interesting, because I'm living in such a separate model from the life that they're in. And I think they want, in many ways, to live more like that, but they don't feel like it's accessible to them. Well, I've got kids now, or oh, my partner wants to just watch TV, or I don't have the energy to like go travel. And I'm like, well, you technically would have the energy to go travel and be spontaneous if you had it free, you know what I mean? So you get to make those kinds of choices in your life when you're unencumbered, but you have to make the choice to live an unencumbered life in order to have the opportunity to access those things, you know what I mean? And honestly, I just don't see myself giving this up anytime soon. I don't visualize myself anymore finding somebody who's not going to take away from the model that I'm currently living in my life right now. Like, this is just the most beautiful, delicious lifestyle model that I never thought that A, I would have, B, I would want, or C, feel like I deserve and can access. Like, I just never saw this happening for me. But now that I'm in this, I can't see myself finding somebody that isn't going to interrupt this, and let alone add to it, because I'm not the type of person to get into a relationship because I'm lonely. I'm not lonely. I spend all my time alone, and I love that because I know how to fill my own cup and to love on myself, and I don't need somebody next to me or alongside me to elevate me at all. So I wouldn't just get into a relationship for the sake of being in one. It would need to be somebody who's making my life feel better than I can make it on my own. And that's a really, really tough, supremely high bar, because I do everything for me right now. I do everything. I am so just like on in every area of my life, and I'm so grateful that I get to say that right now, but I just don't see how somebody else is going to come in and do something that surprises me or makes me be like, I want them. That's what I want. I have an idea of what that person might look like, but I also have an idea that maybe that person isn't going to find me for a really long time, or they're not out there for me in this lifetime. Maybe I'm polyamorous. Maybe because I'm so multifaceted and I want to go do a whole bunch of things, like I'll find the partner who wants to travel with me, and also the partner who wants to go grab a drink once in a while, and also the partner who wants to go to cooking classes or dance classes and elevate themselves alongside me as I elevate myself, and we just kind of share in that communal energy of just evolving and evolution and development. So there is this one girl that I'm talking to right now, again, casually, lightheartedly, long dating, not interested in being in a relationship, but we go on dates and they're fun and they're like beautiful dates. But again, like, I'm just not in that kind of mode of life right now. A relationship would really slow my progress down. But anyway, we have this like running joke. We're like, oh, we're each other's number two, because number one's like a lot of responsibility and it's just like too much pressure. Like, I'm not your number one. Like, I'm like number two on the roster, because number one on the roster means a lot of things that being number two or number three on the roster doesn't. And so we have that joke, even though like neither one of us is really talking to anybody else. But when we were making that joke last, I was like, you're actually like my number 5. And she took me seriously for a second, which it was, but I'll get to that in a second. She was like, what do you mean I'm number 5? Like, what's number 2, 3, or 4 doing that I'm not? Because she's really cool. And I drew her a pyramid. I need to go find it. Give me a sec. Let me go find it. Okay, actually, I couldn't find it. But I drew her Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And on the bottom, I put all my personal stuff, like getting good quality sleep and diet, nutrition, exercise. Then the next one up on that hierarchy was, I think, my memoir. That definitely was number 2. Then third up on the list was social, the feeling of belonging, community, time with friends that I have already. The 4th bucket up there was YouTube. Hey guys, that's you. The 5th bucket up there was her. The 6th bucket was miscellaneous new novel experiences, travel, making new friends. And I'm pretty sure there was a 7th bucket, because I definitely would have done 7, and I can't remember it at this point in time. But that hierarchy of needs, I kind of like wrote it to her as like a half joke, half serious, but I'm realizing how true that is in my life. Like, I can't imagine, the truth is that I cannot imagine a world where a partner, even if it was serious and monogamous and committed and I was in a relationship, like, I cannot imagine that energy having any more quantity dedicated to it, becoming a greater priority in my life than like level 5, like tranche 5, which means it's the 5th highest priority, which means it's like there's 4 things that are more important to me than that and will be all the time. I just can't imagine that. And I can't imagine devoting, like, what is when somebody is your 5th priority in life, how does that look like a serious, committed, intense relationship where you're sharing a lot of your life energy with another person? Those two things seem kind of mutually exclusive to me, because all I know is the conventional idea of what a relationship looks like and is supposed to look like in the age where people aren't writing books and don't have YouTube channels and aren't trying to travel and live a life that's just so full on their own. Like, it doesn't work. And that's part of the reason why I think I'm going to be single forever or for a really long time, because I can't imagine giving more than like 10% of my life energy to somebody else. I can no longer imagine being somebody's shoulder to cry on. I want to be with somebody who's got their shit figured out. You don't need to be perfect. We all have down days. I have down days, but I've learned how to regulate my emotions and my feelings on my own, because that's the lifestyle that I've been in, and that's the kind of partner that I would want to be with. And obviously things happen that are really heavy, and I know how to hold space. I'm such a wonderful friend, and I show up in that way for my community. So it's not like I don't have that ability, but I don't want somebody that's going to bring me down or that's going to hold me back. I don't want somebody who, is going to bat an eye when I'm like, I'm not doing anything for 3 days and I think I'm going to fly to Rome because Rome sounds cool. And I also don't want somebody who's like, wait, Rome sounds really cool and it's on my list. I'm going to come with you and we're sharing and everything, because I want to be able to expand my life independently of another person. And I just don't see any of this happening in a conventional relationship. Maybe I'll be in a relationship one day. And obviously, this is me single speaking this now. And I can't see that version of myself. And I can't see who that future person is. But I truly just cannot see myself caring to be in a relationship for a really long time. And it's almost so funny because, like, I definitely never thought that this is what my life would look like. And it's so beautiful and I love it so much. But I feel like I'm just on such a different path than everybody else around me. So many of my friends are in serious, committed relationships, and they're moving in with their partners, or they're getting engaged or married, or they're having children. And I am only 25, and I know that's really young, but it kind of makes me laugh. I'm like, damn, am I possibly going to be like that cool aunt that's just single and living her life? Valid. But also, am I going to be that crazy aunt who like doesn't have kids and doesn't have a partner and is just kind of perpetually single? Maybe. Or maybe I'll find somebody and I'll be like, that's the kind of person that I want to commit to. But I haven't met them yet, and I might not meet them for a really long time, but I'm more than okay with that. And yeah, I think we all need to learn how to just like love ourselves and really thoroughly enjoy being single. Because if you're afraid of being single, you're going to bring all of that energy and all of that shit to your partner. And it's not going to be healthy. And it's going to end in one way or another, because you're not where you need to be as an individual, as an independent. You're just not independent. You were dependent, and then you become codependent. And that's just, look, I mean, no judgment to anybody else who's living that way, but that's not me. And I honestly don't think that'll ever be me. And so thank God for everything that I've been through already that brought me here, so that I can be celebrating and filling up my own cup like a blistering, exploding fountain at the ripe, young, fresh age of 25 years old. So, wow, that was a big riff. But yeah, I love myself. I love you. I hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed this ramble. This was definitely just like a journal vent sesh. This was a standard Ari's overshare protocol. Anyway, I'm going to go make breakfast and go for a walk and celebrate myself. And I hope you do the same, whatever that looks like for you. And if you're partnered and you're in love, I'm so happy for you too. Yeah, I'm just happy for everybody. Go love whoever you can, yourself first and foremost, but love everything. Love the light in the sky, love the cloudy days, love the rainy days, love your friends, love your enemies, love your partner, love everything. Love is the answer. Just you figure out where you want to put it. All right, that's it. I'm going. I'll see you next week. Goodbye. Also, if the audio sucked, I will never do the headphones again, but I just felt like it this week. Bye.